Morning once again, welcome. Let's do the headlines for the dailies this morning. It's a Thursday, and of course, I have Mr. Mike in here with me. Mike, thank you for joining.
All right, let's go.
So we've got plenty of political stories inside of the dailies. If you're picking up a paper, be prepared that this is what you're going to see. We'll run them by you in any case and maybe touch on a few of these. Let's start with the Nation newspaper for this morning, Thursday the 17th. Big headline here, Customs intercepts 299 cartons of condemned syrup along Lagos-Ibadan Road. Well, you've got the border just by there. And key portfolios for Edun Alake, Oyetola, Fagbemi, and Adelabu. Ahead Monday's inauguration, presidency assigns duties to ministers designates. What did you think about the designations given to some of the individuals here, Mike?
Well, I'd mentioned that I know it's allocation. I think that anybody who is a good manager can do almost anything. But I would say that I would like if somebody had some sort of, how do I put it now?
Experience expertise?
Maybe not expertise, but maybe some passion for that area. For instance, like sports. You know, there are some parts of this that is more than just your managerial experience. It will take your passion for you to be able to. So I would like to look at that. But then overall, if you're a good manager of people and resources, you can almost do anything. If you just get the right people around.
There was plenty of talk about Alake's designation.
Some people expect, or many expected that he will be, Minister of Information, considering that, he's a journalist.
Exactly.
A journalist background. But, the president has other ideas, and let's see how that goes.
My contribution there with expertise is irrelevant there, I guess.
Well,
Perhaps. Let's move on now. We have other headlines here at the bottom of the Nation. NNPCL's 3 billion naira buffer to strengthen naira stabilize exchange rate. How new move will boost economy by presidency. Naira firms up against the dollar. But how much? How much of a firm up did it give? Well, hey. Chidoka PDP will collapse if not reformed. And tight security mounted to prevent attack on railways. That on page 5. Ahmed Hassan is Jay's Bank's AGMD CEO. And also how Abuad is raising her bar for academic excellence. Back to the railway situation, there's renewed, attacks now, especially in the north. Railways are very, very important when it comes to distribution of goods or even services in Nigeria. So
transportation for people also.
Transportation for people, exactly. Long distance especially. So this is a big concern. Hoping that the new minister, whoever gets this designation, has more than enough to tackle the situation
I saw this video, I think it was by Bashir Ahmed, who spoke about people who go to even take out the bolts from railways.
Yes.
And said that, okay, he said something about Nigerians being the ones that are problems and all. And I look at it from another way. Look, it's so basic that when people resort to that, you wonder that, what are they going through? So you need to look at it that way also. What are they going through? You remember that time when it used to be light before there was solar placed, and so the issue was converting it. It would take more stress.
So there's a causative, what's it called? It's causing people to do that.
Exactly.
In this case, it
so
would
you
be
need
poverty.
to think about that. So what will make somebody go and take out? Yes, it's possible. More often than not, it's wicked. You understand? But then, have you thought about it? The same way people go to scoop fuel. I mentioned something there. I said if it was in front of your house,
Would
the
you
whole
or
tanker
wouldn't you?
fell down. Would you or would you not? Even when you knew that was dangerous to you and other people.
At the time, I'm thinking of my stomach.
Exactly. So the point that is going to take out those really. It even happens with bridges. You've seen those.
Oh, I've seen it firsthand before. I've seen it. What they use is spoons. They use spoons to actually unscrew them, and I saw that
And
happening.
then it takes so because I think the steel.
They use it for spoons. They use it to make other spoons and pots and all of this. But we have to move on now, Mike. You've got the next paper, don't you?
Oh, okay.
Let's move on to the Guardian newspaper.
All right, to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian: resurgence of killings threatens North Central states' food production. This is something that we don't want at this particular point in time. I mean, food. The president spoke about how grains, when it comes to subsidy, how there were grains for farmers and all of that, and agriculture. I mean, we can't overstate it. That is something we should really focus on. We need to stamp this out more. So let's move on from there. 1,200 lives lost in North Central due to banditry, kidnapping, and herdsmen and farmers crisis. Tinubu silent on Petroleum Ministry, assigns portfolio to cleared minister. So, but we heard about the Minister of State.
Yeah.
I mean, since about 2 administrations before now, there's never been a Minister of Petroleum. It's always the President, and then there's a Minister of State more often than not. So I think that's the situation as it stands now. That there's a Minister of State for petroleum. Okay. Well, yeah. People are talking about Niger. Nigerians call for war. Volunteers. Sahel Alliance seeks release of Bazoum. All of that.
Oh, they're calling for war. Well, I'm sure we're going to revisit that in the other headlines, especially inside the Daily Trust. Let's move on now to the Daily Trust. Tinubu splits petroleum ministry, appoints 2 state ministers. Mike, you already just touched on that. Creates tourism, blue economy, others. Wike gets FCT, like a solid minerals.
So that Wike one is quite interesting. He's the first ever Southerner, I think, to be in charge of the FCT.
Exactly. Well, first ever Southerner to be in charge, and also the first ever to say, no, I don't want a ministerial position, but to hug it with gusto, eventually when offered to him. New ministers to be inaugurated on Monday. We've had plenty talk about that one. At the top of the Daily Trust, as investors lose hope, NNPCL secures $3 billion to establish Naira. And also, 82 Boko Haram fighters killed in inter-ethnic clash in Borno. Mike, apologies, I'm being asked to speed this up, so we're going to move on to the Punch already, where we have ministerial portfolios. All workers demand results as Tinubu heads petroleum ministry. He clinches works, Badugu budget, Wike FCT, Oyetola transport inauguration for Monday. Manufacturers set agenda for industry minister. NECA says portfolios based on track records. Mike, track records.
I don't know. Well, like I said, for Wiki, when you've governed the state, so the FCT is just like it's a state. It's 37 states, as it were.
Do you think really?
Not exactly that way, because there's a whole lot involved in
exactly
Abuja, in managing Abuja. There's something Fashla said the last time. I said, look, I've managed a state. You think so? There was a time, when they collapsed the power, works, and I think
into
it was
the
housing.
same ministry,
Into the same ministry. I said, look, I've managed a state. There's something that it takes. When I manage a state with all the pressure, 3 ministries is not really a problem.
So perhaps maybe he does have the track record then.
Know what,
Final headlines for the Punch newspaper here. Crash. Army chief deploys more soldiers in Niger. Villagers flee. And miscreants terrorize Lagos communities. Governors vow clampdown. And panic in Ibadan settlements as Mogaji seals 200 houses. Back to the miscreants here. There's been plenty of clampdown on situations around Lagos when it comes to miscreants. There have been bonfires, especially in the Amodafi area. It's systemic. But there's a question, when you put out these miscreants, what alternatives? Where you drive? It's like stamping out a nest of roaches.
You need to think about
where are they going to go?
Exactly. You need to think about it. Just almost like what we're saying, that we think that palliative should have been set up before maybe a subsidy removal. Before you even start, you need to put avenues, because they will spill out.
Yes.
It's almost like you hit something with a content, it will spill out.
Let's
have you
hope.
added plans for where they will spill out?
Let's hope.
Integrate them.
Integration,
into
exactly.
Society in different ways.
Well, let's hope that they have these plans in places. We hope, because anything else would not be palatable, especially to the communities around there. And we're beginning to see those kinds of things happen in these places, especially where I stay. Well,